Hi, so today we're having a look at the Sony KD-49X8305C, which is one of Sony's 4K TVs. It's 50-inch and it's mid-range. It belongs to Sony's 2015 range of 4K televisions. We picked this specific one up for £700. This is the 800Hz version. As you can see, the frame, it looks quite good. It's sturdy, robust. You can definitely take the weight of the TV. The only concern is the fact that you can't tilt the TV, which in some circumstances, including in this living room, can be quite annoying. As you can see, the TV has a pretty good design. The bezel is very thin, and so is the screen itself. If you look from the side, you can see it's only a few centimeters thick. There's plenty of expansion ports, but I'll tell you about the more important ones. You have 4 HDMI ports, so that's what most of your devices connect with these days, whether that be your PlayStation, home theater system, or whatever. You have one port with ARC, that's good for connecting audio receivers to, so if you have a surround sound system. And you've also got one which is compatible with MHL, so that's what you use to connect your TV to your mobile phone using micro USB to HDMI. Other than that, you still have one rear SCART input, which is nice to see, probably the oldest TV connector I can think of. And you have digital audio input for analog signals from your audio system too. The bottom of the TV features a nice illuminated status LED which blinks basically and changes depending on what you do. So now let's have a look at the performance of the screen. As you can see, the main unique selling point of this range of TVs is the fact that it has 4K. For those who don't know what 4K is, it's a measure of sharpness. So 4K is pretty much the biggest you can get, which is sold to consumers at the moment. So the resolution of the screen is very high and it is very, very sharp. I'll put on some zoomed in clips so you can have a look at the pixel density. But I can tell you it is very high, and that just makes all content look beautiful. And this is combined with a nice bright edge lit panel, which really does help. You can clearly see the vibrancy, and the colors are all very, very natural. Here we're just showing some stock footage from Brazil, I think, and as you can see, it feels like you're almost there. Much cheaper than a visit to Brazil. The TV also has a frequency of 800Hz, which is basically how many times the screen refreshes per second. This is combined with Sony's technology Motion Flow, which helps to smooth down images, so that's pretty good if you want to watch something which is fast moving like football or something. But as a warning, I must say it has been known that TV manufacturers, when they claim to have a certain frequency, it doesn't always match that, so 800Hz might not actually be 800Hz. But yeah, other than that, the only other performance we can talk about is the actual speed of the whole device. In all honesty, I'm not too happy with it. It runs Android, which is obviously very, very beneficial because it's quite flexible, and in the future you should be able to change it and adapt it, which is obviously good compared to some TVs at the moment. But you may notice there's just a lot of lag going between screens, and you know, it's sometimes pretty much unusable. Like now, for instance, it's just I want it to be much more responsive than this. This is not very acceptable. So, as I've previously mentioned, one of the most important selling points of this TV is the fact that it runs Android. So, it's same as the Android which you find on your phone and your tablets, but obviously apps have to actually be tailored to your TV. So there's certain apps which still haven't made their way to the TV yet, but all the important ones should already be there, such as Netflix. Why I particularly like the fact this runs Android is that to an extent the TV is future-proof. So say a new Netflix alternative were to come about, on your average TV you won't be able to find an app for it, but now this one runs Android. You've got access to an app, app store, and whatever changes in the future you'll be able to implement it on your own TV, which is obviously very good. However, as I previously mentioned, the TV just seems to be too slow and doesn't really seem to run Android that well, but I hope to see this improve. And once again, App Store does seem a bit limited right now, but hopefully as time goes by more developers will be working on apps for TV. By the moment there are still even games for the TV, and you can connect in USB controllers and stuff like that as well, which is pretty interesting, I think. The TV has 20-watt speakers built into it, a pair of them actually. I found that the sound wasn't deep enough, but for TV the speakers were quite good, especially considering how thin the TV was. I didn't think the speakers would have even sounded as good as they did, but they were okay. And you won't find the need to really connect in external speakers unless you've already got a set. The TV has an A energy rating, if that's of interest to you. Obviously you can watch normal TV on it. It's got twin freeview tuners, and you've got the UView app, which lets you scroll back, and it has on demand and catch up, iPlayer and stuff like that. One thing I did notice when I switched to a smart TV was, before I had a UView box, is that you can't pause live TV, and I found that to be quite a useful feature, and this seems to be lacking it, but I think that's a common thing in smart TVs, so it's not really right of me to expect it. The TV features Sony's X1 processor, so this claims to improve clarity, contrast and colour in the system. I must say contrast does look very good. The blacks are very dark, and as I said before, the resolution, you can't complain about that, and the colours and everything very realistic. It also has X-Reality Pro technology, which upscales any image to the sharp 4K resolution. So like I said, 4K is the maximum resolution this TV can support. However, majority of content you're going to find is most probably going to be in 1080p, which is the equivalent to about 1K, and maybe even less. So the TV helps to automatically upscale that to 4K. It won't be as good as finding a 4K clip, but I still found that 1080p content looked very good on the screen as well. So the fact that it runs Android means you can use stuff like Google Cast, DLNA, so you can do stuff like screen mirroring. That's when you display what's on your phone onto the screen, and you can do interesting stuff like that. Sony have also implemented some sort of technology where everyone in a room can share their photos on their phone onto the TV. That might be of interest to you. It looks like quite a cool thing to do. A useful feature with this TV is the fact that you can use your phone to control the TV. So after downloading the TV app on the Android Play Store, I was able to pair the phone to the TV, a pretty simple process, and now you can control the TV. So first of all, it's not simply just a remote, so here you can have a look at recommended videos popular on there, and if I were to click any of these, it will go straight onto the TV and start playing. But there is still the remote control function, so if I just click there, as you can see, it brings up the remote control functions, and I should be able to control the TV. There we go. But once again, much like many other functions of the TV, it still seems to be quite buggy and doesn't seem to work all the time. It does have its useful advantages, so for instance, usually when you try to type something into the TV, you need to literally use the four-way navigation pad to type in every single letter individually, so you need to move to the A, move to the B. It's kind of like typing in your name on an old Game Boy, which is obviously very time consuming and annoying, whereas using the phone app you can just type it in or use the microphone in your phone to say what you want to type in, which is very useful. There's other functionality, like you can use it as a mouse, and when it does work, that is good. But like, once again, this is just a good substitute to the TV remote which comes with it. Here's a TV remote which comes with it. It's pretty standard, and to be honest, I would like something better than this. There's nothing interesting about it. It does have a Netflix button, but other than that, it is a standard remote. You can use a better remote, which Sony does. It sells separately for this TV, but the high range models of this range come with that TV remote. So for here, the best we can do is use your phone. So overall, I found this TV to be fantastic. I was particularly impressed by the sharpness of the screen and just the vibrancy of the colors. So overall, very pleased with the actual viewing experience given by the TV. The build was also good. Once again, I'm quite happy with the fact there's Android, because I believe it gives some flexibility. But that being said, I still think Sony should have beefed up the processor in the TV so that it could handle the processors better. But other than that, even value for money, it's a very good TV. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.